what are some nets that we can make of a cube? So I want you to draw them out. Okay, there's actually 11 of them, and one of them is the ones that we just did. Okay, we can draw a net like this where we have the 4 pieces. Okay, and that is a net. Now, some of these are just mirror images of each other, and we don't consider these different. Okay, so I'm just going to move this along. So this one here, if I draw a net and I draw it like this is actually considered the same net because they're just mirror images of each other, or they could also be rotations of each other. So I'm gonna go over the ones where we can kind of categorize these a little bit. There's ones where we can make the 4 along the side surface. Okay, and really all we need to do then is to be able to have a tab on the top and a tab on the bottom to close up the bottom and top. So we can put them here and here. We can put them here and here. Okay, which is different than those ones. And oops, where's my net there? Okay, and we can, I'm just gonna leave a space here. Okay, we can put them, we can have them separated like this. Okay, so those are just some examples. So we can categorize them into rows of 3 or 4. There's ones that we can make with rows of 3 like this. Okay, these ones are a little bit harder to do, and I encourage you to actually cut some of these out. Okay, actually take some paper, cut them out, and you can actually see, physically fold. If you don't actually do that, it's very difficult to be able to do in your mind. Okay, some people are good because you have lots of experience kind of folding things like this. Some people are not as good, so you have to actually cut and fold. Okay, so one like this, an example of this one might be, we could have, I think something like, oh, I can't even think of what this looks like. I think one like this. I think that will fold into a net. No, this one will not fold into net. Okay. Oh. I'm going to have to think about that one. So there's going to be ones where we have rows of 3 that can be made into a net. I think if I do that, oh, this is kind of a hard one to think of. I need something up there. Okay, something like that would fold into that. I have to double check that one. I'm going to put a question mark next to that one. If you actually look ahead in the nets for the next couple lessons, so in fact this one here, this one actually shows all of them. There's actually all 11. Please don't cheat though. There's 11 different nets that you can draw for the cube. Okay, so see if you can count how many of those can you come up with on your own. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is a prism. A prism is when we have a shape that, a cube is actually a prism, it's a type of prism, but a prism is really any shape, that 3D shape, that if you take slices of them, every slice has the same area. Okay, so if I slice through like that, like through the top here, okay, the surface here is a triangle. If I slice that, the surface that's going to result from the slice is going to be the exact same triangle. Okay, so this is an example of a triangular prism, and all things that can be sliced like that are prisms. So for example, think of a loaf of bread. If every slice is exactly the same, okay, that loaf of bread is considered a prism. Okay, so this is a triangular prism. Can you draw the net? Okay, a good way to draw the net I find is, what I try to do is think of, can I go around the outside of that object? And then think of the side pieces separately. So when I draw this net, I think of this surface here. Okay, I'm going to think of the bottom. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so that surface there. I'm going to think of the bottom surface. Okay, along here, and then there's a surface along that diagonal there, which is going to be a little bit longer. Okay, so I've gone all the way around and accounted for all the surfaces around that side. And then I'm going to draw the two triangular sides. So I've got 5 surfaces, so I'm going to make sure I have all the surfaces accounted for. And there it is. Now this line, I would like you to kind of draw proportionally accurately, but since it is a hypotenuse line, you probably won't get it exact. Okay, as long as you have it there and it's reasonable length, that's going to be fine. But there is my net. And when I fold this back up, I'm going to get back to its triangular prism shape.